Knowing how to successfully tease a woman via the text messages you send to her is about getting that perfect balance between communicating that as a man you have standards for how she should be engaging with you, and that also you're not all that emotionally invested yet. I'm dating coach Hayley Quinn, and in this short video, I'm going to be giving you 3 strategies for how you can workshop your text messages to nail that teasing tone. So before I get onto those 3 strategies for how you can tease her via text, and yeah, I've got a few examples to show you too, I just want to let you know that my goal as a dating coach isn't really to teach you a bunch of canned lines that then everybody who's watched this video on YouTube can go out and use. That doesn't benefit you as a person, because you know what? Eventually, all the lines in the world are going to run out, and she's actually going to have to get to know the real you. So instead, my intention is, of course, to give you a few examples, but really this is the fishing rod rather than the fish. This is about teaching you how you can both get in the right mindset, understand the principles behind how you can effectively write messages that have that teasing and have that banter. Now, over the years, of course, I've had many men come to work with me who just want to know, how do I banter? How do I tease? How do I become more flirtatious with women? And I find that often the one mindset that's really holding them back is they're constantly thinking about this whole dating thing, like, how do I say the right thing to impress her? What does she want to hear me say? What does she find funny? How can I be like this cool alpha guy who's really comfortable with teasing women all the time? Now, the trick is, if you constantly live in fear of rejection, if you put a footstep wrong, or you're constantly overanalyzing your messages because you want them to be the perfect thing that she wants to read, or you constantly model yourself on some other guy and try and emulate how he's communicating, you will never find this easy. Instead, finding writing teasing messages easy comes down to you feeling more ability to express yourself. So not sounding too much, I think it's a Madonna video here. Instead, it's really about liberating yourself from the need to be right. It's about understanding that perhaps when you're talking to friends or family members or people you know where you stand a bit better, you might be pretty funny. You might not be so worried about teasing them or saying something a little bit controversial because you're not needing the outcome of them liking you. So really, before we get on to the examples, it's important for you to recognize in the world of dating, even if you don't feel like it right now, you are in a world of abundance. There are tons of attractive and nice women out there. And the way that you'll find the women who connect with you best and who naturally like how you show up to the table and what your personality is all about is, okay, you'll know some strategies and some general principles for how you can communicate, but you will also trust in yourself that how you want to express yourself is good. And you won't worry that if one person doesn't get your sense of humor, like, who cares? It's actually about you finding writing teasing messages easy and finding the women who really dig who you are. So as I mentioned at the start of this video, the real secret sauce to writing a great teasing message is we have to balance having standards with phrasing it in a way that's playful and lighthearted and shows that whether she responds or not doesn't really make or break your day. This is what I call the bubble wrap principle. It's where you have something you want to say that might be more direct, and maybe you're communicating like, hey, you've taken 3 days to reply to that message. Or maybe you're wanting to say something that is more teasing, but instead of saying exactly how you would say it, you like wind it back a little bit and wrap it in bubble wrap. Now, why you don't want to seem too emotional when you're writing to someone you've just messaged is, even if you think she is the most hottest woman that you've ever messaged on a dating app, remember, before she's actually met you in real life, she's not going to be that engaged in the interaction. So if we kind of just show that our mindset is that her reaction is all important to us, it's going to make you seem like you care about the outcome of this way more than her. So obviously the Jedi way around this is you start to let go of your need to have an outcome. But whilst you're perhaps moving towards this place, let's look at some specifics around how you can actually write your messages to start cultivating this response in her. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to give you a really simple example that we're going to work through those 3 strategies with, which is all about someone being late. And if you've had a kind of flaky message, which is like, oh, I'm so sorry, my day's been crazy, I had to hand in this project, and then my train was late, and then all told, 45 minutes late, you may feel that actually someone isn't really fully being respectful of your time. On the other hand, you might be one of these people that's very laissez-faire and doesn't care. But if, for instance, being punctual is important to you and it's a respect thing, then we're going to use some strategies around how to communicate that. And the idea is, whatever your standard is or whatever your boundaries around, it's about learning ways that you can kind of stand up for yourself and communicate that, but in that bubble wrap, in that teasing off the cuff way, which shows, you know what, if this one particular option doesn't work out, it's not going to ruin my day. Also, I have to say that when you are writing messages, and before you sit down to write these, always try and write messages from a relatively zen space. If you are writing messages while you're on Netflix or surfing the internet, then chances are you might write something and look back at it and be like, I could have phrased that better. So if you really want to learn around how to improve your messages right now, let's make sure you're doing this from a calm, chilled environment where you can really focus on mastering this different form of communication. So let's look at strategy 1. So if someone was running a little bit late, you could say something like, I'm coming to learn that you live in your own time zone, or I forgot you run on GMT plus 15. So either of these ways of expressing things acknowledge like, hey, you are pretty late here. And maybe 15 minutes isn't that late. Maybe I should have made it 45. But acknowledges that someone is running late, but you're doing it in an off-the-cuff, playful way. So to do that, you keep it short. You make sure that that tone of playfulness is coming through. So if she could read that message and be like, whoa, that's offensive, or who is this person to judge me? We've gone too far. So it's about learning both to moderate how emotionally invested you feel in something and also the tone that you write it in so that we bubble wrap that message. So the second strategy that you can use if someone isn't perhaps showing you full respect in some area and you want to put it across in a teasing way is to be directive. It's to give advice and guidance about how they might do things differently. Now, of course, telling someone how they should lead their lives is a little bit of a tricky territory to navigate to get it right. So our idea again isn't to be holier than thou or bullying or mean or any of those qualities. Instead, your intention is to be more like a coach. It's like, I'm going to playfully encourage someone to be the best version of themselves. And by doing so, I'm going to express how I feel about something. So you could say, I'm going to have to get you set up with one of those little GCal things. Or we need to start setting timers on your phone. So the fact you say, we need to start, it shows that you are seeing yourselves as a we. You're talking as a couple. You're using a very strong word like need, which is showing that there's a bit of urgency here. And you're also being constructive. You're not being mean, you're being helpful, and you're kind of giving a prompt to how she could perhaps do things differently. And that should be actually an attractive way of putting across your standards and again, doing that little bit of bubble wrap and keeping your teasing text spot on. So if you're enjoying these messages so far and you want more ideas and strategies and ways you can feel better and more empowered as a man about your dating, please head to hayleyquinn.com/unite. I've got some free videos for you there, so I'd love to see you on my site. And of course, if you're enjoying this video, like, share, comment, please subscribe to my channel or send to a friend who may need the help. So the final strategy or way of looking at things is, say she walks through the door on your date and she's super, super late. First of all, don't be mean about it. Be like, it's cool, relax. I got you a G&T, everything is good. You can even very playfully say, well, luckily punctuality isn't on my list of qualities in my dream woman. So again, you can show standards. You can say, hey, luckily that's not so important to me, but you've got to do it with a smile. If the tone is wrong, if you are actually allowing yourself to get frustrated, particularly if it's over quite a small thing, it's less about knowing how to tease her and it's more about adjusting her relative importance to you at this stage in the dating process. So I hope you found these messages helpful, and please remember, these messages really are just inspo, they're just ideas for how you can go about writing your own messages in your own words to communicate the same thing. And ultimately, remember, if someone isn't investing in the relationship with you, if she's not showing up for you in a way that gives you that respect and shows she's equally making that effort to get to know you too, rather than needing to tease or call her out on this on text, you could also just let that relationship go. That's also a good option for you. So as I said, I've been Hayley Quinn. If you've liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and hopefully I'll see you again very soon.